right, here we go. Here we go. Here I am. I just realized I have a smudge on my glasses, but I promised, because I'm good like that, I promised I would do a TikTok live in the evening. It's the evening here on the East Coast of the United States. I don't know if it's the evening where you are, but it is 8 p.m. Eastern where I am. Destination Decluttered. I'm going to plug in my phone. Don't go anywhere. I'm just going this way, okay? Just dropping down here to get my phone plugged in so we don't lose things. So hey, it is the evening. I gotta be honest with you. It's feeling extra late. You know what I just realized? It's because of the whole changing of the clocks. Hey, Catherine, nice to see you. Good evening to you as well, and Jennifer Sue and Rach and everybody who's tuning in. My name is Beth. If we haven't met before, I'm sure I will introduce myself a number of times, but I am a decluttering life coach. Leslie, nice to see you. Handmade by Heath, nice to see you as well. Yeah, Debbie, all sorts of people. So here I am. I usually do TikTok lives in the morning, in the afternoon. I mix it up. And in order to reach as many people as I can, am I going live tomorrow? I don't believe I am. No. I will say that there is a video. What do I want to say? I'm tired. It's the evening. I'm not an evening person. There's a video pinned to the top of my TikTok page that gives the schedule for TikToks between now and literally a week from tomorrow. Because after that, I'm going off the grid as I often do, because that's the life I love. So get me while you can. Mama with Pepper, what can I help you with now, even though I'm not going on tomorrow? I will say this though, if ever I'm not doing a TikTok live, never fear. The TikTok lives that I do, I download from TikTok and then I upload them to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. So for example, when I travel often because I have changed my life enough and transformed it into a way that I'm able to do that, and I want to help you do those things too. Catherine, thank you so much for getting my back right there. Monday 11/13 is the next live, she says. However, I will say this. If anybody is on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, and if you're not, I suggest you hop onto it. I'm doing a free breeze blocking workshop on Sunday at 1 p.m. Now, if you're on, but the only way you get invited is to get on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list. That's pretty easy because it's free. All you need to do is go to my website, sign up, and that's how it works. And what happens is you get invited. Actually, next week is going to be kind of busy. So next week for the people on the mailing list, we've got the free breeze blocking workshop on Sunday. Then Tuesday is going to be the Destination Decluttered monthly group Zoom. And also if I do any pop-up TikTok lives, they may be a pop-up to you, but maybe the people on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, what a mouthful, members only, like the jackets in the 80s, they know if I'm going to do TikToks anywhere, okay? So notice that. All right, so what do we got here? Yay, Sunday. Okay, I'm going to the shed tomorrow. I just wanted to listen. I'll pull up a rerun. Okay, cool. You know what? The reruns are just as well, you know. Miracles of Money says, I just did an awesome job. Here goes my Boston accent. With completely reorganizing my closet. Now I am burned out. Yeah. Here's the fun thing. It will take energy to do decluttering. But the neat thing is kind of I would like to think, not necessarily burnt out, you may be just tired. How do I rejuvenate, get some energy? How about this? How about just go hanging out in your closet and, loving how it looks? How about being proud of yourself for showing up for yourself when you did the awesome job with your closet? Bask in the glory of a job well done. And also just, take a nap, recover, go to bed early, brush your teeth, get on your pajamas, do those things, okay? So notice that. Yes, celebrate yourself. Celebrate the moments of your life with a what was it? The international coffees, the ones in the little cans, celebrate the moments of your life. No, maybe that wasn't it. Anyhow, evening, Judy, nice to see you, and Purple Blossoms and Carla. I love this. So I don't typically show up in the evening, but what I do, what I want to do is I want to reach people. I love seeing everybody who shows up regularly. I hope this is catching you maybe at an unusual time. Maybe you're just laying on the couch scrolling on TikTok like I often do. Carla is saying, organize some piles today. Awesome. Get rid and keep. Not a lot, but step by step today. Please, everybody. Carla, especially, I say because you mentioned it. There will often be more to do. Not always, but there will often be more to do. That's part of the process. If you have like a stack of stuff that's been hanging around for a while, it will take a while for you to knock down what I like to call the accumulation of clutter that has, happened over years maybe. And that's okay. You can celebrate the wins while also having more to do. Don't say you have to wait until it's all done before you celebrate. Every freaking 5 minutes, you can celebrate. That will generate some dopamine. That will encourage you to do more. As I like to say, there's that little gif where you do like a Liz Lemon high five. Tina Fey right there. Can be overwhelming when it looks crazy before it improves. Yes. Miracles and Money. When I am coaching people about stored clutter. So I talk about the 3 levels of clutter. There's surface clutter, stored clutter, and sentimental clutter. One of the things to know about that part of the process, oh, thank you, Kristen, is it's going to look, and you can write this down because I always say this, it's going to look temporarily worse, or it's going to look and feel temporarily worse, like, whatever, before it looks permanently better. So notice that. Okay, Michelle is saying, and I typically am rereading the questions and comments so that they show up when these videos go onto the Destination Decluttered on YouTube, okay? So Michelle is saying, I have so many stacks, it's crazy. I don't know about the crazy part, but notice how the stacks are too much for you. Stressed and families coming to visit this weekend, ugh. Okay, so first of all, notice the stress. Notice it. You can do something about it when you notice it. And what do I want to say is you can calm down your nervous system. When I talk about overwhelm, that feeling of overwhelm that maybe gives you a stress, is the opposite of overwhelm is down. So you can breathe down, you can calm down, you can pet down, you can loosen your stress. Notice it in your body, and then notice it and see what you can do to dissipate it. Okay? When you are less stressed, you are going to be in a better position to do something that's going to lead you in the direction you want to go. So for example, Michelle, you've got family coming to visit this weekend, but you've got all these stacks. So you could do this. You could take a look at your calendar, your schedule, your, dare I say, your breeze blocks between tomorrow and, tonight even, and when your people come around and say, okay, what can I do to lessen where these stacks are? Now, maybe you won't have the bandwidth to store them, or to sort them. But what you could do is if they are organized, that you could temporarily store them somewhere in an organized fashion. So you're not just kind of willy-nilly kind of throwing things into, doom bags or boxes, but you are being strategic about, these are the things that I organize. Now I do need to tidy them up before people come over, but after they leave, I won't be able to get back to them. Notice that. Okay, there are things you can do. Laura is saying, return to raincoat to REI that I only wore once in 6 months. Already had one other raincoat, made $90. That's great, Laura. Nice to see you. And you know what's funny, you and me? I recently bought a raincoat. Actually, I was going to say at REI. It was another one of those acronyms, EMS. Yes, I needed a decent raincoat because I realized what I was calling raincoats, they didn't keep the rain off of me at all. But that's great that you were able to do that. Yes, and I think REI has a good return policy to do that. So just notice that. All right, so what else do we have here? All righty. Covers? Yep, cover, move the stacks for now, get through the family first. Yes, exactly. The stacks will always be there. Not always, but they will be there after the people leave. And I love it when I hear people saying that even with their clutter, they're letting people over. Because sometimes I have people talk about what a client once told me about called chaos. CHAOS, which is an acronym for Can't Have Anyone Over syndrome. So kudos to you for having people over, even though you may feel too cluttered about it. Okay? PM11208, hey, how to rein in a family member helps to declutter and creates a way bigger mess. You know what? Here's the thing with that person is they may not know how to declutter like we know how to declutter. Am I right? And it could even be just that they are at that part of the process is at the temporarily worse before permanently better thing. What I would say is give them points for trying. Points for trying, because you want to have them. Here's the deal. You don't want to discourage people from helping you. You want to encourage them. So if you make them feel bad about it, they're not going to want to do it again. But thank them for their help, and then perhaps you could show them a little bit better how to do it. Well, you know, this actually goes right here. Well, you know what? We should probably set the timer so that we have time to straighten things up before we need to leave. Things like that. All right? And just, you know what, we're all on our journey, clutter-wise and otherwise. Some people know how to do it really well. I mean, I'm pretty much an expert at it at this point. People like coach are getting better at it all the time. But people who have never been coached or never been taught before, they're kind of winging it. You know, they're looking at other people, getting clues. Okay? So just notice that. I love it. Suggested username 71 says, appreciate your TikToks. I've decided to declutter room by room, and I've made a little progress. Perfect. You know what you did when you decided to go room by room is you have kind of chunked down the overwhelm in a spatial way. What does that mean? If your whole house is overwhelming you because it's all cluttered, start with one room. Just start with one room and do a little bit at a time. Really, all you can do is a little bit at a time, and it's really the best way, not just to declutter, but to do all sorts of things, little by little. So you allow your nervous system to regulate around getting in there and doing it. So you show up again, you realize it's pleasant, so you do, it's not as bad as you thought, so you do it again. And when you chunk down and you do little bits at a time, you also allow other amounts of time in your life to do things you want to do. Okay? I love that you also are following up saying, was able to sell some items and make a little money. I have done the same thing. I just actually here, this is really fun. So, I thought I did it. I can't remember if it was a TikTok live or it was an actual video, but I did a video a couple of weeks ago about being in the basement and cleaning up stuff. And I have a table down the basement that had kind of my accumulation of stuff that was like, I need to take the next steps, but I'm not sure of them. And I spent some time doing that. And the cool thing is all this week, it has been a little bit at a time, but items that I have had for years that I've been like, oh, I should do something with that. I have finally done that. Today, I dropped off 2 items to a place that is going to put them in auction, which is unusual. I'm hoping to get a couple of bucks from that. I have mailed a bunch of things to people who were interested in what I wanted to, and I didn't sell them to them. I just thought it would be fun to share, so I said, pay me the postage and I'll sell you this stuff. What else did I do? I put away some things to give to a friend to use for another type of thing. So bit by bit, even I am doing these things, and it feels so good to finally get them taken care of. Okay, so I just encourage you that. I hate throwing good stuff away, says Skylar Wolf, so don't throw good stuff away. Easy as that. Clutter is not necessarily the good stuff. Now, it may be good stuff, it may be quality items, but if it isn't good for you, that it's your clutter, but it may be good for somebody else. So don't throw things away. There's often this misconception in decluttering that things that you don't want are supposed to go immediately from your house into a dumpster. And let me tell you, there are different places between you and a dumpster. You can see if any friends want them. You can put them on the internet for free. You can sell them. You can donate them. You can put a free pile on your lawn. You can, drop them off at a shelter. There's so many ways you can do it. So don't throw good things away. Keep the stuff that's good for you, but the stuff that's good for somebody else, put them back out into the world, into circulation, so somebody else can appreciate it. Okay? Just notice that. I'm saying I just noticed that a lot. I will admit this. I am a little bit tired. And so if I repeat myself or you'll hear me not being on the top of the game because I just realized how tired I am. Just suggested username. It's freeing and really doesn't take long to accomplish something. Yeah, little bits at a time. All right. Only took 3 years. Hey, you know what? I've got stuff that I've had for 10 years, 15. It's crazy. I have stuff that when we moved into this house, I bought and I'm like, I should do something with that someday. And finally it aligned. I thought I had with a couple of these things made inroads, but then I gave up and I took a page from my own, coaching book. And I said, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? And today I dropped some stuff off and we'll see how that goes. I promise to keep you posted. I love it. Finally moved COVID home office setup from dining room to guest room desk. Yes, everybody. What a good thing to talk about. We all have lived through something that was so unusual. It's kind of mind-boggling to remember that this actually happened, but COVID and lockdown was pretty much our generation's like Great Depression, like the 30th. We will forever be changed because of what happened. We had our lives before COVID, and I'll just use that as the umbrella term. We had our lives during COVID, and now we are in the kind of post-COVID world. And not so much with the sickness and the things like that, but how we lived our lives. Home offices were on the dining room table, and now you're not doing that anymore. You do things. So notice how your life has a past, a present, and a future. The stuff you did, stuff that was important to you back in the past, may still be important to you now, but it may not be. The stuff that's important to you now may be stuff that wasn't important to you back then, but also pay attention to that. The stuff that's important to you now, find a good home for it. If you don't want it, find a good home for it outside of your home. But also keep an eye on the future, your destination, and say, is this something I want in my home in the future? And if the answer is yes, find a home for it. And if the answer is no, that's okay. That's okay. Find a better home for it, just not in your own home. Okay? Carla is saying, my mom has been gone 3 months today. Oh, hon. And I'm not okay with people coming to her house, but I will be. Yeah. There is no timeline. There is no timeline here but your own. Your timeline, everybody, all of our timelines are unique to ourselves, and honor that. If it feels like it's the right time for you to do something, notice how I say feel, not like I think it's the time, but if you think and feel that it's the right time to do something, do it. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it, okay? You will be in the future, and you even said that, but just not right now, okay? So get that. 3 months is a really short amount of time for that, so allow yourself a chance to grieve, to heal, to kind of recover from one of the most traumatic things in life, which is the death of a parent, and treat yourself with kindness and love during this. Anybody who knows you and loves you is not going to give you grief about it. And if somebody's giving you grief about them, I don't know, flip him the bird. There you go. Hey, there you go. Miracles of Money says, I found a few new bags that I returned for $600. I am telling you guys. So I often say decluttering makes you money. Decluttering saves you money. I have coached people who have found money while they've been decluttering. I have coached people who have returned things that have made money. I have coached people who have decluttered enough that they no longer are paying a monthly fee on storage units. I have coached people that have found gift cards. I have coached people that literally have decluttered so much that somebody bought them a vacation. I am not kidding. I don't make this stuff up. Why would I make it up? It's all true. So just think of how your clutter costs you money. Decluttering can make you money. Right there. Found new bags, returned for $600. Notice that. Just notice it. It's all about noticing things. It's like, hey, yeah, I can do something about that. Hey, yeah, that thing there that's been bugging me. Take the blinders off, look at things with fresh eyes, and then take some action. Now, I say this like that's all you need to do, but trust me, I know that there are roadblocks to your action. I know that there are thoughts and feelings that are getting in your way of driving towards what you want to do. I love it. Awesome. The Closet Project. There we go. Oh, that severe COVID. Fun. All right. Donna is saying, I have a lot of old family photos in lots of different sizes. What storage boxes do you recommend? I don't recommend anything specifically, but I will say this. I would say make sure they're archival so that what they're ever made out of doesn't do any damage to them. And how about this? Find a decent sized box that fits all the photos of the same sizes. Pick one that pick one that would fit the biggest photos, then put all the photos in them. Keep it simple. Keep it so simple. Do not get too fussy about any of this stuff. Do not spend too much time on these things. Get it done, get it taken care of, and then spend your time what you want to. Okay? What else do we have here? Vera is saying, I'm constantly moving things around. I wanted to have it all in one place and never move it. Okay. Well, find a good place for your stuff and keep it there. Oftentimes when people say they're moving stuff around, it's because they're thinking they haven't made a decision whether they want to keep it. And let me just offer this to you. This is what I often say is, here's a thing. I'm always picking up a thing. What's a good thing? Here's a plate. Nah, that's a dirty plate. Okay, here's a thing. Yeah, ye old mug. Here's the thing. Do I want it? If I want it, where does it go that makes sense to me? If I don't want it, where does it go that makes sense to me? Okay? So just notice that. I say this when I say to people when I'm coaching, the very first thing we do on coaching, when you do a 10-session package with me, is we focus initially on your destination. Because how do you know where you're headed if you don't know, you know what I mean? How do you know where to go if you don't know where you're headed? And one of the things I say is, how do you want your home to look? How do you want to feel in your home? And how do you want your home to function? And to function, ideally, you're going to say, I want to have my things where I can find them. So they're put away in a place that makes sense to me, that I can easily find it and get it from there when I need it. When I can use it, it works well. And when I'm done with it, I can easily put it away. So find a place that makes sense to you. Okay? I go along and stay on task, and then for some reason I get back and have to start all over again. Get curious about that. Get curious about that. I mean, I will say this. All of us, every single day, okay, everybody, we are not robots. We are not machines. We are human. And so that every day you have, like, think about the gas even in your car. Every day you go out and you sit in your car, you look at the gas gauge. There's a different amount of gas in it than yesterday, than tomorrow, than all this. Same thing with you and your gas gauge. You may run out of steam. And when you run out of physical, when you get tired, it's going to be harder to make decisions. Your decision-making energy can empty. Every time you make a decision, it kind of empties the tank a little bit so that at a certain point you're like, I'm done. I can't even. Like I am pretty close to that right now, which is good. So I'm only on for like, about 40 minutes or so. And then I'm going to go put my pajamas on and go to bed practically. But just honor the fact that you're a human and that your energy and your focus will be different every day. Pay attention to that and do the best you can with what you have. And don't beat yourself up for not doing it. There is no glory. There is no glory in running yourself into the ground. Driving all night on trucker speed to try to get there, and then you just exhaustedly show up at your destination, and then you have to spend days recovering. If you spend your life like a road trip and you do a little bit at a time, and then you have some fun, and then you rest, and then you do something fun, and then you do the thing you need to, make it fun. Make it like a patchwork of cool stuff with space and time. That's why I call it breeze blocking. It's not like a solid brick wall. It's like there's breeze, there's life that goes through it. All right? What else do we have here? Yes, I love it that you don't have to overthink. Actually thinking of getting pics scanned onto thumb drive for both my kids. Go for it. Yeah. That is one way of decluttering the physical clutter. However, I will say this, see what pictures you actually want to save, Vera's saying, where do I find the packages? You might be talking about, let me see. Okay. Yeah. Oh, as far as coaching, maybe I only offer one coaching package. My website, it's a 10-session package. It's paid coaching. I don't get into prices right now because it does vary. And, actually, my prices will increase on January 1st. But I don't even want to talk about money because I don't want you to be like, oh, that's too much. I would rather have you find out what I offer to see if it works for you and then the price will make sense or not, to see if you value what the what the results are, and see if that's worth your money. Because I bet you're spending, everybody here has probably spent a lot of money on stuff. And then how about figuring out or being taught a way to learn to deal with your stuff for now and for the rest of your life? I love this. Kimberly Smith is saying music helps one task at a time. Yeah, you know what's fun? So a lot of times, and I will recommend this to everybody, start using the timer on your phone as a way to keep you going, to say, I will just set it for 15 or 20 minutes and I will declutter for that. And then when it stops, I can choose to go on, or I can just congratulate myself for what I did. And what I want to suggest is music is a lovely way to notice the passing of time. You can say, I'm going to, and trust me, I'm just realizing that my brain went to my own Gen X, my own Gen X growing up. And I was like, I will declutter for this one half of a record. And then when the record has to be turned over, I will decide if I want to do it or not. It can make it more enjoyable. There we go. Kimberly I swear I had 2,000 pillowcases. That is a wicked lot of pillowcases, Kimberly. It is. Yeah. Be curious about how you got cluttered, why you had 2,000 pillowcases, so many projects going. Were you finishing your projects? Were you starting new ones? Were you getting bored? Were you giving up? Yeah. Oh, sorry, Vera. Yes, destinationdecluttered.com. I apologize. I'm a little bit off my game here. I'm kind of sleepy. I don't know if this happens to all of you, but like with the clock changing, it's a little bit, my body still hasn't quite adjusted. But yes, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach. My website is destinationdecluttered.com. My coaching here on TikTok is Destination Decluttered. I upload I upload these videos to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. I also show up on Facebook and Instagram with usually the pre-recorded videos that I do here on TikTok, just for people who are not on TikTok. But there we go. Jordan is saying, I did the timer yesterday, 5 minutes each room, and ended up decluttering the whole house for 3 hours. Hey, that's awesome. That is so cool. Notice how different it feels when you choose to do it or not. And sometimes, often, the hardest part is just getting started. It's almost just like turning on and warming up your engine. And once you do it, your wheels start spinning, you get in a groove, and you're like, oh, I'm up and moving. Seriously, sometimes all you need to do is, instead of laying down, you sit up. Instead of sitting up, you stand up, and then you put your hand on something, you make a decision, and you just start. You don't have to figure it out all at once. Any progress is good progress. And yes, and this is what I love, Jordan, is you just said the thing that I love to hear is it felt so good. We start with the decluttering because it looks like we don't want it to look. So I often start with the easy peasy part of it, which is, what we're so used to thinking of is, what does my house look like? But being a certified life coach, my next thing is, how do you want to feel in your home? Because that's a heck of a lot more important than how it looks. You'll notice the interplay between those two, though, because when your house doesn't look like you want it to, you probably don't feel so great yourself. But when you see yourself making progress, then it feels good. So decluttering can make you feel good. Jordan just said it. There we go. Kimberly Smith says, I make a cup of coffee on the Keurig, try to hurry up and unload the dishwasher or load it. I do the same thing. I will do a cup of tea, and I will try to empty the dishwasher or put a couple of things in, and I will wait for the kettle to do it. That's another way of timing yourself, to say, what little bit of time can I use to embrace this? We often think that we need to do these big swaths of time, and that just... If you're in the right mindset and you're in the right energy set, that can occasionally be beneficial. But to me, that type of decluttering is more the exception to the rule. Because the little bit at a time decluttering also helps you realize that you've got habits that got you cluttered, and you undo your cluttering habits a little bit at a time. Okay? Notice that. Okay, Mary is saying, took me 2 hours to match storage containers and lids. So frustrating. Notice that, feeling of frustration. Yeah, it doesn't feel good to be frustrated. How could you make it easier on yourself? Now, I will say this. To me, I'm just imagining my own kitchen, and I only have a handful of storage containers and lids. The fact that it took you 2 hours, I will just offer, I'm suggesting, could it be that you have too many? That the quantity of items you have makes things take longer. When you declutter, what you want to do is you want to get from having too much to feeling just right. And that is the volume, the number of items you have. And oftentimes, sometimes we just have too many of multiples. Yes, and notice you just said it is too much. Too much. Probably, as I was saying too much, you were probably typing too much. Notice this. When I say too much, I say it's kind of up here because when, to me, we have like kind of a set point or, a place where it feels just right. It's not lack. It's not too little that you feel like I don't have enough. You feel just right. And then anything above your just right is going to feel like too much. You will know this because you don't feel good about it. And then when you start knocking it down, it feels better, it feels better, it feels better until it feels just right. And then past your just right, it might feel like, nah, you know what? I don't need to get rid of any more. I'm good with what I have. So notice that. And notice what your set point is. And if you're in the too much, that's what the decluttering will help you do. Is declutter is to reduce the sheer volume of items and change the habits that got you cluttered. Now, this is something I work with my clients. I do one-on-one coaching, so I'll just do a little commercial plug here. I do a 10-session package, pretty much 1 hour a week or so. I'm flexible. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. I'm flexible about it. I'm a human, you're a human. I know, for example, I'm not going to really be coaching the week of Thanksgiving, and I'm doing some travel in December, and then there's Christmas. So I coach humans because I'm a human, and I coach in a human way. And what we do is we get together and we say, okay, what is kind of cluttering up your home while we create a method for you to declutter it? Notice what gets you stuck. Notice how you got cluttered in the first place. Catch yourself in those habits and slowly change them. Nia is saying, I need to declutter clothes and paper. Yeah, clothes and paper tend to be a lot because we have tons of, I'm looking at paper right here in my own office. I need to spend a little bit of time with some of my stuff because when life gets busy, things can pile up. That's when you need to say, wait a minute, I'm going to take some time and I'm going to knock this pile down before it gets any worse. Same thing with clothes. You might be busy, so you need to just grab another outfit and go, and I'll do this later. I will say this. Time spent decluttering is time well spent because it makes your time outside of decluttering easier. I was working with a client this week, and she was saying how it takes her X amount of time to get ready in the morning because her clothing is in such disarray that it takes her so long to find an outfit. No worries, I don't judge, but I say, do you realize that when we start working on your decluttering of your clothes, it's going to take you a shorter amount of time to get ready? Decluttering has just positive ripple effects in your life all over the place. Suggested username 71 is asking, do you have specific times and days you go live here? I don't. But what I do is, because I love to have a flexible schedule. I have loved this ever since I worked retail for decades, and I really did resist and feel like I was kind of in shackles when I did Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So I don't like to be too regimented about stuff. I can sense when I feel like I always think of like, don't fence me in, so I don't fence myself in. What I do, however, is two things. One is if you're on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, I send you a list of when I show up live. So for example, I sent out a big email to everybody on the list a couple of days ago, the new people recently, and it shows the dates from now until like the 17th. If you're not on the mailing list, it's wicked easy to do that. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. You put in your email address. You promise you're not a robot because I don't coach robots. And you get on that, and it's pretty simple. Also, we're doing a group Zoom call next week and also a free workshop on Sunday. So either of those things are interesting to you, hop on DestinationDecluttered.com/join. But if you don't feel like doing that, I'm not going to pressure you. No worries. What I will say is that I do let you know when I'm going to be live. It's not the same day and hour every week, but I will make a video and I pin it to the top of like the 3 videos on the top of my TikTok page. So like or follow my TikTok page. You'll be notified, I think, when I go live. I think TikTok does that. But also, you can look at that video and just put it on your calendar. Okay? Anastasia's piles of clothes is getting higher and higher. Oh, okay. It's okay. So no, all right. So we have here, Ramona is saying, I wanted so bad to declutter my linen closet. My plan was to start there, but instead I started in my clothes closet. Notice. I'm always going to be about the noticing. Notice when you say you want to do something up here, but then when it comes time to do it, when you do something else, that juncture right there, there's something there, and it's usually here. It's usually a thought and a feeling that cause you to think you're going to do something, but then you don't do it at all. This is what the life coaching part of decluttering does. It also helps you with your habits. Habit change is so freaking huge, and habit change and time management. It's really mundane, easy sounding stuff, but it totally helps you in decluttering not just your house, but your head, your heart, your life, your calendar. Decluttering just quiets everything down, and you have more time to do the stuff you want, So just notice that. Yeah, I do feel much better when my clothes are all hung up and organized. Notice that you feel better. This is all to get you to feel better. Because if you're not feeling great, what can you do to feel better? Look at your clutter. Your clutter is making you feel a certain way. It's probably telling you some unhelpful thoughts. It's probably making you feel bad about yourself. Okay? And what I will say is when you deal with your clutter in a way that helps it so it doesn't just pile up again, that you notice your habits, you stop yourself from doing your habits and you do something else. We work on all of these things so it becomes easier, sustainable. And the wonderful thing about being in a coaching thing for the 10 sessions or the 20 or the 30, I always offer that once you get in as a client with mine, as long as you keep on renewing, you're always in the same rate that you signed up for. But however long it takes, the repetition just allows these new habits to take hold better because you're showing up and showing up and showing up, doing a different thing. Okay? I like furniture and don't really need it. Vera, I will share with you. Yeah, I actually, in this corner right here, used to have a chair that I moved when I decluttered this room, and I got rid of a lot of bookcases because I didn't have the stuff that I had. I didn't need any shelves. And so I had a chair there, and then I realized I never sit in this chair. All I do is throw stuff on it. So I moved it out today. I gave it to somebody to sell. We'll see if they're going to get any money from it, and I'm cool with that. Okay? But it's antique furniture. Ooh, notice that. Okay, it's antique furniture. Is that because it might be worth something someday? Think about those things. Think about the thoughts in your head, the thoughts that go through your head when you think about releasing something and letting go of it. That is going to be indicating where kind of you need to pay attention to. What are the thoughts in your head that keep you stuck? And with coaching, I teach you a method to recognize that and do something different so that instead of being stuck, you get started and you feel good about the direction you're headed. Okay? Notice that. Yeah. Get curious about the stuff that you have around your house. Are you using it? Is it stuff that really brings you joy? Does it tell you a bad story? Does it bring you delight? How does your stuff make you feel? I have, furniture in my house that I love. I have seen furniture that I don't like. Pay attention to the stuff that brings you joy, right? Oh, that's interesting. Anastasia says, is that new decor above the bookcase with the red car? No, actually, it's been there all the time. It has, yeah. I mean, maybe it's been a while if you haven't tuned in, but this has been here for at least a year. And what this to me is always, what I do is when I'm coaching and I do these TikTok lives, I will say to you, we are right here on a map, okay? We're on a road trip. We are here. This is our destination right here is where do you want to go? What do you want your home to look and feel like? What do you want to feel like when you're in your home, and how do you want it to function? And how you get there is a road trip. So isn't it interesting, the things that can be right in front of your face and you never notice? But yeah, I often refer to that when I'm doing my coaching. And it's to remind you to treat your life like a road trip, not a commute. It's to remind you that there are little steps in between. I often talk about the fact that I live on the East Coast of the United States. I'm in Pennsylvania. I consider it the coast. I mean, I know Jersey's kind of there, but I can practically see the ocean from here, hypothetically speaking. And between here and Palm Springs, California, there are a bunch of miles. So there are a bunch of miles between where you are now and where you want to go if you're cluttered and you don't want to be. No big deal. What you do is you start and you do a little mile at a time, mile at a time, mile at a time. You get there. The more you show up, the sooner you get there. But don't try to do it in too short a time. You're going to exhaust yourself and it's not going to be long lasting. There you go. Okay, Lauren Beth. Hi, neighbor. You're closer to the ocean than I am. And Vera's asking birds or Steelers. I live in birds country. However, I am not a sporty person. I'm married to a musician, and one of the first things we ever did was bond about the fact that neither of us were really interested in sports. But it is fun that when we do root for the home team, because if they don't win, it's a shame. And also, if they don't win, maybe people will flip over cars. I don't know. There we go. Oh, okay. So you're up near the shore. I'm in the Philly area. So there we go. Gila Rio is asking, what are your thoughts on paperwork? Years of paperwork? Here's my thought that I want to offer you. Why are you keeping it? Why are you keeping it? Everybody, why are you keeping the papers you have? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm not saying it's good or bad. What I'm doing is being curious. Curiosity opens you up to listen to an answer. And what I bet is that you have a habit of saving the paper. You're saving it because you have been told you needed to, but do you really need to save all of your paperwork? I bet you need to save some for your taxes. I bet you need to save some for insurance. I bet you need to save some for proof of buying things. But what else are you saving? Yeah, how much paperwork should we keep? Lauren Beth, I don't know. What do you got? Depends on what you're saving. I will say for the most part, for example, your tax returns and any substantiating documentation, I believe the IRS says 7 years. Other things are going to be lifelong, like you've got your, marriage certificate, divorce certificate. Like titles to cars, your last will and testament, birth certificates, passports. Those things you probably want to hang on to. But I don't know, your credit card statements, your bank statements, your, any of that random stuff. It all depends on what it is. A category of stuff. I'm afraid I may need it, but what is it and what are you afraid of? Notice this. Lauren Beth, I love this because honestly, what you just did was you illustrated perfectly the unhelpful thought that keeps you holding on to things. And you said right now, you kind of lovingly outed yourself. I'm afraid. Fear. I'm afraid I may need it. If you're hanging on to something, I want to bet you ducks to dollars. I feel like I just made that up. I want to bet you anything that there's a fear there. There's something you're afraid of. I am afraid I'm going to need it someday. I'm afraid that if I get rid of it, I'm going to get in trouble. Notice the fear keeps you stuck and keeps you hanging on to stuff. Okay. A lot of it is generational and passed down. Now that could be, Gila is saying that's paperwork. That could also just be the habit of hanging on to the papers. But remember these previous generations. These previous generations did not have access to the internet. The only way they could keep records was on paper. And so that was a legit habit to have prior to computers. But is it as necessary now? The other thing too is part of what you're doing when you're doing these things, and notice I'm afraid, when you're afraid, your nervous system gets activated. And so you hang on to it to calm your nervous system down. You feel safe when you've got the stuff so you don't feel afraid. So there may be a certain level of paperwork that you keep that makes you feel secure and safe. No big deal. But notice the stuff that do you really need? And only you can answer that. But what you can ask yourself, what would be the worst thing that would happen if I shredded this? Or could I get a copy of this if I shredded this, if I needed another copy? So just notice that. Jarby Media says, in my experience, we turn over cars even when we win. Yeah, you know what? I've seen the videos. It's true. Old bills, yeah, don't need it. Paid the bill. You don't need to prove it to anybody. Now, here's the funny thing. I say this to you. I have a system that I have used for so many years that it is so routine and so like autopilot for me that I expend so little energy to write down, paid, whatever, put it in a file, like in this little kind of carry-all, and then empty it out at the end of the year, that I don't change my habit because it works for me. So I'm cool with what I do. But I want to say, if what you're doing isn't giving you the feeling you want, or it's just you're feeling overwhelmed by paperwork, I mean, literally, I have like a tiny little Expando file with a handle that is all of my paperwork for an entire year. I don't like to see filing cabinets in houses. I think they're clunky and junky and awkward and unattractive. So I try to minimize the appearance of paperwork in my home. That's me. I love it. Suggested username 71. I finally bought gift cards to have my old sentimental t-shirts into a quilt. And it will clean out the drawers. Funny thing is, literally, until I washed this one, I usually like to have a little lap blanket on me. I got 2 of those made. Not the big ones. I got lap blankets. It was like 16 t-shirts. It was like a 4x4, maybe it was 5x5. I literally just put it in the other room. I could have showed it to you. But yes, that's one way of decreasing the amount of things in your drawers is by doing like a t-shirt quilt. There we go. Manuals. I might as well throw them away. Yeah. Think about this, everybody. With your paperwork, when is the last time you actually referred to it? Or did you instead Google something? Look at me. I'm like this to my keyboard over here. Did you Google something? Frigidaire, refrigerator, how to fix it, whatever. Yeah, just get note of it. Okay, old bills, yeah. Do you shred bills at the end of the year? No, you know what I do? I don't like to, okay, somebody's saying here, let me do, yeah, credit card bills, have them, you're right, we don't need them. No, used to have a trunk full of papers, now I only have one drawer. Love it. Yeah, why would I need these kind of papers? Yeah, definitely a fear. I'm 56, so am I. It's an age thing, but you know what? So Lauren, you and I are, I just turned 57 in the summer. We are awesome Gen Xers, right? We have one foot in the pre-digital world, and now we're in the digital world. So sometimes what we have is habits of saving paper that we started prior to the fact, before they had home computers and like literally a printer right here. Sometimes we forget to update our habits to fit the life we now live, or the life we want to live, which is having less paper. I often equate it to like if you have your phone and sometimes your apps need to be updated. Like we need to manually update our internal apps to match the version of our life that we have right now, so it runs the most efficiently. Just have some fun with that and think about it. And somebody was asking about shredding. I hate shredding. I think it's a waste of time. It jams things up. It takes too much time. It gets dusty. So what I do is I put all the papers that I think should be shredded into a paper bag. And as I get papers that need to be shredded, I have a bag down the basement. I put them in there. And then I keep my eye open for a community shredding event in my town. And they have them maybe every 6 months or so. When I do that, when I see this as a shredding event, I will go bring that whole bag over and have somebody else shred it. It's a time saver. So that's what I do. You can do, again, I love to empower you to do what feels right to you. But as a coach and as a person who is a life coach, so I don't want you spending more time than you have to decluttering. I want you to learn how to declutter efficiently, quickly, to get the results you want, so that you can maximize the amount of time that you spend in your life doing the things that bring you joy. If shredding brings you joy, go for it. But if you'd rather save those minutes, those hours, and go flop on the couch and read a book or scroll through TikTok, I'd much rather you do the things that bring your life joy than spending too much time with just a bunch of stuff. Because all of this is maintenance. You're taking, the more stuff you have, the more stuff you're responsible for, the more you have to take care of it. So notice that and question the next time you want to bring something into your house. That's going to take more of your time, your energy, your money. Maybe put the little traffic cop hand up and say, do I really need that? And I say this to you as we enter the holiday season. When people are asking you what you want for a holiday gift, do you want more stuff in your home? Or heck, do you want less stuff in your home? I've had more than one person tell me, and even a recent client, that what they are doing for themselves for the holidays is giving themselves a decluttered home by getting coaching with me. Now, if that sounds interesting to you, as I said, go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com. But just think, we are now getting into that thing. Do you want to add to other people's clutter? Do you want to add to the stress of, sometimes it can be fun to go out and do some holiday shopping. Other times you're just adding to clutter. So think about that. All right, I'm on for about another 10 minutes here. There we go. Lauren Beth, I've gotten rid of a lot, but now I'm thinking I could do a lot more. Here's what has happened, and I can share with this. You're thinking when you feel like I've gotten rid of some, but I think I could do some good, but I feel like I could do some more. I'm thinking I could do some more. It's because your nervous system, your internalness is feeling okay at the level right now, and it's saying, you know what? This feels okay. I bet we could get rid of a little bit more. It's always going to be a dance in an interplay between your brain and your nervous system and your feelings, your nerves and your anxiety or lack thereof. When you feel okay at this certain level and you say, you know what, I'm going to see what else I can do. That's because you've done a little bit at a time and you've allowed yourself to kind of get an equilibrium here, and you realize that it feels okay to have reduced things. That felt okay. I'm all right. I'm safe. Maybe I can do a little bit more. Notice that and embrace it. All right. What else do we have here? Whoop. Okay. I feel differently depending on yeah, so funny. You're so right. I feel differently depending on the day, time of life, etc. Me too. And literally, time of day. I am not an evening person, especially now with the change. But I have the change. Look at me going through. I mean, the change of the clocks. The time of the season. I show up in the morning more, but other people may be night owls. My husband is a night owl. He's a musician. He's out playing right now. He probably won't be home for hours yet. I get up early. Honor who you are and embrace you and use the things that work for you. Play to your strengths. I get up, I do more in the morning. Right now, I was doing something earlier on my computer, waiting for it to be 8 o'clock so I could go on a TikTok. And I was just like, oh my God, this is exhausting. And it's just because I'm tired. So that's when I'm like, okay, note that. I will take care of myself. And when I have more energy, things are going to be easier. Okay. Yeah, Anastasia is saying, hurricanes showed me when we evacuate how much I could live without. Ain't it the truth? Okay. Okay. Darby Media is saying, I always worry that somebody else could use it and I don't want to toss the extra plates, etc. Okay. So I will offer this. Put together a box and bring it to a thrift store so somebody does use the plates. Just notice that there are other ways to get the things. Just because they're good things doesn't mean they have to be in your house. Other people can't use the plates if they're in your cupboard. Think about this when you're getting ready for Thanksgiving too. Thanksgiving, everybody, is 2 weeks from tonight. Or today, rather. Thursday, the 23rd? Are you going to bringing out the china? Are you going to be excited to do it? Are you going to be dragging your feet? Or do you have too many things? Do you know where all your stuff is? This time of year, I've been saying to my clients all week, this time of year to do coaching is different than any other time. I coach year-round, and these last 2 months of the year, November and December, always are different than the previous 10 months. And that's because this is the time of year where we often have things that we have stored away that we use just occasionally. Thanksgiving, December holidays, New Year's, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever. There's a lot of stuff that we pack away that we only bring out once or twice a year. So notice this when you're going through your things for these upcoming holidays. Do I really need all these things? Does this bring me joy? Or does it stress me out? Just notice that it's different. Okay. There we go. Lauren Best says loves giving stuff away. I have given some stuff away this week. It's been fun. It's been from people from away. So I've had to do some mailing of stuff, but it has definitely been fun. I like to give away stuff or sell things when I know it's being connected up to somebody who's really going to enjoy it. There we go. What else do we have here? Okay. Here we go. All right, where am I located? I am in the Philadelphia suburbs, right outside of Valley Forge National Park and King of Prussia. And I'm a Beth too. There's a lot of Beths on here. Here we go. I love this. Lauren Beth says, I have my friend burn my stuff in his chimenea. Yeah, I actually have, I do save a lot of sentimental paper. I do. But I have a system that has worked for me, and it's worked for me for decades. I literally found out about it at the, I got inspired when I was at the Andy Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh. And what I do is basically every year, at the beginning of the year, actually, I don't know if you can see down here, I've got like these pink boxes. They're not all pink. I got different colors, but they're boxes that I start the year with a little small box. And when I have kind of what I like to say, evidence of a life well lived, ticket stubs or, different things that just remind, a card somebody sent me, I put them in the box and it reminds me of all this good stuff. And then I have shelves down the basement. I put the box on and then I do a new one. Now, honestly, probably when I'm 80 or so, or maybe even before then, I want to go through these. And then every time I do, I'll be like, oh, look at that. And I'll throw it in the fire. That's my plan. But notice how I have a process that works for me. I do save some things, but it's in an organized fashion. It doesn't take up too much space, and it doesn't make me feel overwhelmed or yucky or, stressed out. I have a process, and I enjoy it, so it works for me. That's what I'm here to do, is help you feel better in your home and in your life by helping you learn how to better manage your clutter. So you don't really have clutter anymore. You are just surrounded by stuff that you like and you love and you use, and it's just the right amount. Okay? So just notice that. There we go. Chasing Serotonin said, donated some toys to my son's school today and felt good to offload it. I love it. That's awesome that you have a friend who lives in Yardley. That's excellent. Yes, and Anastasia says, it's easier for you to keep things cleaner if you don't normally have stuff. Rachel77 is asking, when are you normally on? Normal? This girl? Nah. Here's what I say to you, is I am typically on more in the mornings and afternoons than I am. I usually have recently started to show up in the evenings because I have clients that are on the West Coast, and I know that there are people between the East Coast and the West Coast that if I show up in the mornings, I'm trying to show up in different time zones at different times to just introduce myself, to say, hey, I'm Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach. I show up, do these videos on TikTok, but what I will say this, Wallingford, okay, I was just in that area today. I always, when I have TikTok lives planned, and I do plan them, I schedule them. Sometimes I pop up if I feel like it. But when I plan them, there's going to be always a video pinned to the top of my Destination Decluttered TikTok page. So follow my page, go there, check out the schedule, and then put it in your calendar. Like somebody, I think it was Catherine earlier, said that the next time I'm going to show up on TikTok is going to be Monday, because Sunday I'm actually doing something for the folks on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list. I'm doing a free workshop. If you're interested in that, join the what do you call it? I see a couple of people. Oh, and I got somebody is going to want a consultation for coaching. Very cool. I'll get back to you as soon as I'm off in about 2 minutes. But destinationdecluttered.com is my website. You can sign up for my mailing list. You can learn more about coaching. You can sign up for a coaching consultation. All sorts of things there. But I do show up and do these TikTok lives every couple of days or so because I really like it. It's how I've met so many people. And Beth, good question. You're in California. I'm in Pennsylvania, so I can't go to your home unless you pay thousands of dollars to get me out there. What I do is I coach on Zoom. We have a conversation because what I have learned in my years of doing this, it has nothing to do with me seeing your stuff. I need to hear about you and how you talk about your stuff, because what you're doing is revealing how you think and feel about your things. And if that serves you and it's getting you where you want to go, we reinforce that. But if what you're thinking and feeling about your stuff is getting you stuck and overwhelmed and cluttered, that's when we get curious about that stuff. And as a decluttering life coach, I help you with that. And then once we uncover what's getting you stuck, then we create a plan for the week, and then another plan for the week. And then you show up and you do the things, and then you learn to do it yourself. There we go. Katrina just said, I just panicked thinking my appointment was today. No. You're all good, my dear. I will see you tomorrow. But yes, and this is a cool thing, is some people would freak out about, I can't show you my clutter. I'm embarrassed. No worries. I'm on Zoom and you show me what you feel comfortable with, but I don't even need to see the stuff. I just need to hear you and be there with you and pay attention to you to help you notice what's keeping you stuck and help you find a way to get unstuck and moving. Okay? Okay, Patty, I'm signing off right now, but I'll say, can you talk about clothes, purses, and shoes? I don't purge because I always want to sell them. See, check this out. Then why aren't you selling them? Now, I'm not being judgy. I'm being curious. If you want to sell them, sell them. And if you're not selling them, I'm going to leave you with this. There's probably a thought in your head that's making you feel a feeling. And when you have a thought in your head that makes you feel a feeling, you're going to do a thing. An unhelpful thought makes you feel lousy. And when you have an unhelpful thought that makes you feel lousy, you're not doing something. There is a way you can change that, though. You can get to a more helpful thought with understanding, coaching maybe, that makes you feel more empowered to take that next step. Okay? You got this. Am I a counselor too? I will say this, I am a certified life coach, but I am not a trained mental health professional. So I know my place in the world and I am helping tons of people, but I also know when things are out of my league. And that's why with love and compassion with people, that's why people sign up for a consultation, a free consultation prior to get into coaching with me to just make sure we're a good fit. And I would never promise to help somebody who needs more help than I can give. I would help them, explore resources and suggest that they find people. But really what I do is I'm a good listener and I know what it means to just be able to articulate stuff. And then oftentimes clients will unravel themselves. Like they will solve their own problems just by having somebody there listening in a supportive environment, wanting to help you get to where you want to go. Okay, there we go. Okay, Shoot Far just says, I just started selling my things online. So much easier than I thought and loving it. Maybe you want to talk to Patty up above, okay? Lauren says, your advice is on point. Thank you very much. Hoarding is a mental illness. Yep, my friend. And trust me, that is a diagnosis of the DSM-5. And I know my place in the world. And I don't want to be a licensed mental health professional. I have them in my family. And it's not what I want to do. I love helping people with clutter. And I love helping people embrace the fact that if they want to change their lives, they can. Okay? I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to brush my teeth, get my pajamas, read a book, and fall asleep. It was wonderful to hang out with you folks this evening. Again, Destination Decluttered. Follow my TikTok page. This TikTok live will be downloaded eventually and then uploaded to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. So folks say that they like listening to them when they're decluttering. If you're interested in the mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com/join. If you're interested in coaching, the very first step is a consultation. You sign up for that on my website too, destinationdecluttered.com. And I will see some of you on Sunday if you're on the mailing list and you want to show up for the free workshop I'm getting. And maybe I'll do a pop-up. I don't know. We'll see. And then if not, I will be on Monday. I'm going to do another TikTok live. Okay, Jordan, it was nice to meet you. Hey, German Maid 95, lovely to see you. Got some cleaning done tonight while you talked. I love it. Alrighty, Lauren Beth, I will see you. And have a good night, everybody. Bye.